Evan Griffin here from TheYoungFolks.com. We're here with Moreno and our resident cleric Gluten from the game Pit People that is now in early access from your friends over at Behemoth. We just wanted to stop by this year, say hi, and we noticed that you guys are doing a tournament. There you go.
Sorry.
It's gone. So you guys are doing a tournament this year.
Yes.
So what kind of inspired that?
Competitiveness? No. No. So the game we've been showing the game for a couple years now, and it's always been solo, single player story, and then we brought in co-op, and now we wanted to bring some of the competitive 1v1 and 2v2 action and get it going on the floor, and give some people some fun loot and awards and actually trophies. We ordered trophies.
Really?
Yeah. And the game itself has tournament as well in tournament mode. So we have PvP in the game, 1v1 and 2v2, and then we have this thing called the Unfair Challenge, where you can go in, play 3 waves against the AI at various different difficulty levels, and all the while, winning loot along the way.
What kind of motivation are you giving the players entering in the tournament here? Do they have any kind of set goals that we're doing to move on to the next round?
$1 million? I'm totally joking. No, I was totally joking. One cool thing about the tournament is we made a wheel, so to even the playing field a little, because we didn't know what kind of skill levels are out there. We're just testing the waters with this. So we made this fun wheel that you spin it. We made all these set teams. So everybody had all these templated teams, and you have to spin a wheel, so you don't know what team you're going to use. And then whatever you land on, that's your team you have to play with. So you kind of have that, and that goal with that was to kind of, again, level the playing field for everybody. So if you just walked up and wanted to hop in and play, if there's room, of course, then you could get in there and maybe have a chance against someone who has been playing it since January now. So when you go into the pit, it's like the arena in the game from the city. You have 2 doors. One is against the AI, and one is against another player, PvP. So PvP, 1v1, 2v2 local and online, and then Unfair Challenge, local by yourself, or cooperative, local or cooperative online against AI. One of the things we have already changed, I think it dropped in update 2, which is already released, was we didn't give any rewards or loot for PvP, and so now we brought that into there. We have that. I don't know if we talked about the auto battler feature. So you could basically turn on this auto battler, and the game battles itself. And the goal of that was to give the players the option to play the game as a team management game. I love that a little. I think maybe the Total War series, you could kind of just finish games and see what happens, where it all auto plays out. So what we found during early access is that people were kind of exploiting it a little bit. Yeah. So we had to reduce point, do a kind of point reduction if you play PvP and use the auto battler. So what we have for update 3, it's more, what is it? We have some mini map stuff for the world map, and we also have, my brain is already, it's only Saturday.
Saturday's always the worst here.
Yeah.
There's so many people.
The biggest thing ongoing is really balancing all the new items and different fighter types, because there's 18, and we're still adding more items, and we introduced more kind of a trade-off thing with certain weapons.
Xbox game preview and Steam early access, and you can check out youngfolks.com where we already got content on the game. Thanks for talking to us, Ian.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, welcome to Austin. So this is Evan with TheYoungFolks.com, and we're here with Mark Essen, the creator of Nidhogg and now Nidhogg II, and he totally just kicked my ass at the game. So good game, man. Good game. The first thing that stands out to me, what made you want to really change the art style from that 8-bit that you did in the first one compared to this?
Christy and I keep a list of Christy's my partner. We keep a list of all the things we want to change in the game, and eventually that list got pretty large, and a lot of the things I wanted to change were just small tuning things about the movement. A lot of things we wanted to change were basic things like movement speeds and the way the melee works, and I didn't feel like that was a fair thing to change to the original game, so we ended up making the sequel, We wanted to add weapons and stuff too. But we wanted the sequel to feel like a different game and not like an updated version of Nidhogg. So we thought we could get away with an art style change. And I really wanted to try that because I wanted to try working with a bigger team. And so we hired Toby Dixon, who's I admired his work on Twitter for a little while. And, so I'm super thrilled to be working with him. And then we have a couple other people that we were able to work with too for the networking. We have my Vadim and Aaron Melcher is helping out with network or with console porting, and we have a bunch of great musicians like Doswan, Daedalus again, Muxmool, Osborne, and it's going to be amazing.
And so, obviously, core game mechanic changes. You were showing me the different weapon systems where you got your normal rapier sword that you had before, but you also got broadsword, short sword, bow and arrow.
Yep.
So, what part other than kind of changing the game up?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about what if this sword controlled differently, and how would we really map that to 2 buttons? And then eventually, oh, maybe it should be its own sword, or maybe it should be its own weapon, and the bow and arrow. It came kind of late, but I never thought it would work, but I kind of feel like it's starting to work right now.
It kind of changes up the dynamic of the.
It definitely changes.
Okay. Oh man, do we have any understanding of why we want to be eaten by these things after doing battle?
I won't spoil it, but all will be revealed. No, just kidding.
So what's kind of the release date we're looking at for Nidhogg II?
Summer this year on PlayStation 4 and Steam. So PC, Mac. Yeah.
PC, Mac, PS4. Cool. Awesome.
More
Thanks,
stuff
Mark.
later.
I'm here with Will, the creative director of Sundered at the Indie Mega Booth at PAX East 2017. How you doing, Will?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good. So they just walked me through the demo for Sundered, and it kind of plays like a, it's almost like a roguelike because of procedurally generated maps, right?
Yep.
But then also there's, I didn't realize as I was playing, emphasis on dying. Can you talk about where those particular reference points came from with how you guys wanted to build it?
Absolutely. So Sundered is a horrifying fight for survival and sanity. It's a replayable Metroidvania where you resist or embrace ancient eldritch powers. So we're very much influenced by Rogue Legacy, Super Metroid. I wanted to kind of bring those 2 games together. So you explore a procedurally generated world, though the overall structure is set in stone. So it's not fully procedural because we need to be able to create these levels where the Metroid-style abilities, the movement abilities, the abilities that allow you to traverse different types of obstacles, where those come into play.
How about the revelation of the skill tree with the necessity for death to actually accomplish that? Was there any particular notes in other games that you guys were thinking of and you're like, no, we could probably improve on that?
Yeah, so the number 1 influence for Sundered is Penguin Launch.
Okay.
Remember that old Flash game? Or you launch a penguin.
The era of Flash games, yeah.
Yeah, you launch a penguin. It goes 100 feet. You get 100 gold. You can upgrade. Then you can go 110 feet, 110 gold. Go a little further every time.
Yeah, it was like kitty cannon.
Yeah, exactly.
That was another one, yeah.
Exactly. That sounds way more violent than Penguin Launch.
Yeah, it was a little more violent. But okay.
So it's that basic progression, constant progression, iterative progress that you get. So you die, you can spend the shards that you've collected during your run, upgrade your character, go a little further next time.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you're actually going to have a harder time with the game if you actually are able to get through longer without having died, which I think is really compelling. It's almost kind of like an organic version of hard mode for people that are looking for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great point. I think it's a really interesting design because it automatically evens out the difficulty. Like you're saying, if you're more skilled or more used to action games, you don't die as much, so you don't upgrade as much, so it's still a challenge. But if you're not as used to action games, you die more, but you upgrade more, so you can kind of get through the content that way. You can grind a little bit and get through the content. So it's really interesting.
So you guys are probably trying to keep some things, certain surprises, but so for instance in the demo we get to play around with a grappling hook after a certain point in time, and that completely changes the way that you traverse the map. Are there any other kind of weapons you guys are excited for people to see, to play around with?
Absolutely. So that ties into the Metroid style abilities that you find, and those, actually the whole premise of the game is resist or embrace. Okay. So those abilities can be corrupted at the cost of your humanity. So if you corrupt that ability, you'll get a more powerful Eldritch version, and that'll have impacts on gameplay and on the story as well. There are multiple endings to the game. So.
And I think that he was saying before, you guys aren't doing early access, but you guys had a really strong Kickstarter campaign, correct?
Yes.
So what's kind of like your ETA? What platforms are you looking at for Sundered?
So yeah, we did Kickstarter a few weeks ago. We raised over $200,000. The alpha backers are playing the alpha build right now, getting us feedback and everything. So launch is July, PC and PS4. So very soon. We're very excited. Full release. It's going to be a $20 game. So
Awesome. It's nice talking to you, Will.